This is the new Hyundai Ioniq 6. It's a 4-door, fully electric saloon with the Tesla Model 3, BMW i4 and Polestar 2 directly in its sights. But will it offer enough to beat those EV rivals? In this first look, we're telling you everything you need to know about it. But before we get into all of that, if you want to see our review of this new EV as soon as we've driven it, subscribe to our channel. And to make sure you're paying the right price for your next car, go to whatcar.com. While many manufacturers are still finding their feet in the electric car market, Hyundai already has 3 excellent products in its lineup. The manufacturer's electric journey started back in 2016 with the Hyundai Ioniq. Hyundai's next dip into the fully electric market gave us the excellent Kona Electric in 2018, which was closely related to the Kia e-Niro. Then Hyundai really turned heads when it released the Ioniq 5 in 2021. Again with mechanical underpinnings shared with Kia and the Kia EV6. And now we have the Hyundai Ioniq 6, which is one of 17 new fully electric cars that Hyundai is going to be launching over the next 8 years. Now that's made up of 11 Hyundais and 6 Genesis models. And 3 of those new fully electric cars will be saloons, one of which is this. And the Ioniq 6 story actually starts with the Prophecy concept car, which we first saw back in 2020. And you can see the production version of the Ioniq 6 does still take some inspiration from the Prophecy concept car, most notably that swooping roofline at the back of the car there. And in terms of overall design strategy, Hyundai's spoken about wanting to avoid a kind of Russian doll look to its cars, in the way that a Mercedes S-Class looks like an E-Class, which looks like a C-Class. But Hyundai does still want some design cues to go across its electric car models. And here you can see that we've got the pixel lights, which we first saw in the Ioniq 5. Now in the 6, you've got some in the daytime running lights at the front, you've also got a big light bar at the back, and there's also other various groups of 6 pixel lights to echo the 6 in this electric car's name. If you're interested in how big the car is, it's actually longer than the Ioniq 5, but that's mainly because you've got more front and rear overhang in the Ioniq 6. In all other areas, the 6 is smaller, as you'd imagine with a saloon compared to an SUV. But its footprint overall is a bit bigger than that of the i4, Polestar 2 and Model 3. Inside the Ioniq 6, there are some similarities with the Ioniq 5. So you can see you've got this dual screen layout up on the dashboard here. This is your digital driver display, and this is the infotainment system. And you've also got this panel down here with some physical shortcut buttons and the climate controls too. Also, like in the Ioniq 5, you can get these fully reclining front seats, although it remains to be seen whether we're actually going to get them in the UK or not. And there's quite a lot of recycled materials in here as well. But it's not all the same as the Ioniq 5, there are some differences as well. Most notably this centre console bit down here, which is said to have been designed to be flat and easy to put a laptop on. So when you're parked up and charging, you can be sending emails and getting on with your work. There's also now some lights on the steering wheel here, and they light up when you're charging the car and also when you're using the voice command system. And you can see as well there's this fairly dramatic and quite nice looking interior lighting as well, so you get that in the front and in the rear of the car. You also get cameras instead of door mirrors, but that's not going to be standard on all models, and actually when the Ioniq 5 has some model year updates for 2023, that will be able to get that camera function as well. As we said, not every model is going to get the cameras, and if they don't, then it just means that the screens on the end of the dashboard won't be there, and this bit will be shorter than it is at the minute. But overall, this does seem like a pretty good interior, decent materials around here, solid finish to everything, and compared to a Polestar 2 and a Model 3, it looks pretty good up front. Now underneath, the Ioniq 6 is very similar to the Ioniq 5, and we know that in the Ioniq 5 you've got a ridiculous amount of legroom, which is basically similar to an Audi A8 or other limos like that, and in the 6 it's only a little bit shorter in that respect. So you can see I'm just under 6 foot, the driver's seat's in my driving position, and you've got absolutely loads of legroom, and it's got a flat floor as well, so it all feels incredibly spacious in that respect. But if there is a downside in these rear seats, then because you've got that swooping roofline on the back, you can see that if I'm sat up straight, my head is touching the roof lining there. So it feels a little bit cramped in that respect, but you really have a ridiculous amount of legroom here. The roof also impacts the boot as well. No official figures for its capacity were available at the time of recording, but having a peek inside, it didn't look particularly big. For reference, the electric rivals this is up against are relatively practical when it comes to boot space. In our testing, we could fit 10 carry-on size suitcases in a Model 3, 7 in a Polestar 2, and 7 in a BMW i4, which is also the same total we could get into an Ioniq 5. Now, practicality might not be your main concern when you're looking at this kind of car. You're probably more interested in range, which of course is of crucial importance for all electric cars. Now, nothing's been confirmed, nothing's been announced, but it is expected that the 6 will have a similar battery offering to the Ioniq 5. In fact, it could have slightly bigger batteries, possibly with next generation batteries appearing in the Ioniq 6 as well. So that, paired with the fact that this is a saloon compared to the SUV, so it's got a more aerodynamic design, this will hopefully have at least as good a range as the Ioniq 5, and probably it'll manage to go even further. To remind you, the Ioniq 5 has a 315-mile WLTP official claimed range, while the Polestar 2 can travel up to 336 miles officially, and the Model 3 long range up to 374 miles. The Ioniq 6 should also get the super fast charging capability seen with the Ioniq 5, meaning that if you find a charger fast enough, you'll top up your battery quicker than you can in many other electric rivals. It will get the same vehicle-to-load capability as the Ioniq 5 as well, which will effectively let you turn the Ioniq 6 into a massive 3-pin plug to enable you to charge a laptop or boil a kettle, or even charge another electric car, albeit rather slowly. There are no performance figures just yet, but expect it to get the same choice of rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive that you get in the Ioniq 5. And it's up against some pretty quick EVs, particularly with the fastest versions of the i4 and Model 3. There's also no official word on pricing, but expect it to start around £45,000 when it goes on sale. That's a jump up from the Ioniq 5, but competitive with the Polestar 2 and Model 3, and quite a chunk cheaper than the i4. So that is everything you need to know about the Hyundai Ioniq 6. But what do you think of this new electric car? Tell us in the comments below. And if you want to see our full review as soon as we've driven it, make sure you subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, for a great deal on your next car, go to whatcar.com.